Hey! Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the live stream. Hello, everybody. Hello, how are you all doing? Hi, how are you? All right, so we are going with Trump and his visit today with Zelensky and a few EU leaders, which was what was happening in Washington, D.C. today. Zelensky did wear a suit. Good evening. We do have a suit. There was a poll going on the internet. Was Zelensky going to wear a suit or was he not going to wear a suit? He did wear a suit. Well, a variation of a suit, if you will. Macron, Meloni. All right, so off the top of my head, we got the UK, or we got, England, Ukraine, Italy, France. What else do we have? Where's Germany? Huh? I'm great. I haven't seen you in a while either. All right, let's continue. So, yeah, a large part of the EU was in Washington.
Not a good day. That was not a great day. Is everything okay? You all set? Thank you very much.
Isn't Trump the best? Just the best. How awkward everyone is. All right, here we go.
To have you here. Well, thank you very much. It's a great honor to have you here. Special place. White House is special no matter where you're from. Represents so much, and it really is beautiful. And thank you for all of the wonderful things that took place today. We've had a very successful day thus far. And important discussions as we work to end the killing and stop the war in Ukraine. We're all working for the same goal, very simple goal. We want to stop the killing, get this settled. I've just had the honor of being with President Zelensky and all of the discussions that we've had. We covered a lot of territory, and I spoke indirectly with President Putin today. We're going to call President Putin right after this meeting. I'm sure we're going to have a solid meeting, good meeting, maybe a great meeting, and we're going to try and work out a trilat after that and see if we can get it finished, put this to sleep, because this is not since the Second World War has there been anything like this.
Wow. All right, we're going to keep going. We're just going to watch a little bit more coverage from.
It's within reach, and I believe that the Alaska summit reinforced my belief that while difficult, peace is within reach, and I believe that in a very significant step. President Putin agreed that Russia would accept security guarantees for Ukraine, and this is one of the key points that we need to consider, and we're going to be considering that at the table also, like who will do what, essentially. I'm optimistic that collectively we can reach an agreement that would deter any future aggression against Ukraine, and I actually think there won't be. I think that's even overrated, largely overrated, but we're going to find out. And I think that the European nations are going to take a lot of the burden. We're going to help them, and we're going to make it very secure. We also need to discuss the possible exchanges of territory, taking into consideration the current line of contact. That means the war zone, the war lines that are pretty obvious, very sad actually to look at them, and negotiating positions. President Putin, also you have President of Ukraine, who is you just met a little while ago, and we're going to try and get a three-party meeting, maybe as soon as we can. And I have a feeling you and President Putin are going to work something out. Ultimately, this is a decision that can only be made by President Zelensky and by the people of Ukraine working also together in agreement with President Putin. And I just think that's very good things are going to come of it. So I hope we have a good meeting. And if we can have a good meeting, I'll set up a meeting with President Putin. And if you'd like, I'll go to that meeting. And not that I want to do that, but I will do that because we want to save a lot of people from dying. A lot of people are dying, and we got to save them.
Interesting. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. So basically, yeah, you had a bunch of EU leaders in the White House today, and Trump was meeting with Zelensky. I think they are going to reach a peace deal. I very much do believe that.
We haven't had a ceasefire. All of us would obviously prefer an immediate ceasefire while we work on a lasting peace, and maybe something like that could happen. As of this moment, it's not happening, but President Zelensky and President Putin can talk.
The media doesn't want peace. The media wants Trump's presidency to be, I believe they will absolutely. Yeah, they want Trump's presidency to be chaos. They don't want peace. And they don't want to show his rational side. But he actually is. This presidency, I've been really impressed by him. Here, I'll start this over again. He's very calm. He's very level-headed, a lot more than I think the first term. Yeah, he's a little bit quicker. His wit is a little bit quicker, but he's a lot more calm now. Maybe that was because of in Butler, Pennsylvania. I don't know. But
all of us would obviously prefer an immediate ceasefire while we work on a lasting peace, and maybe something like that could happen. As of this moment, it's not happening, but President Zelensky and President Putin can talk a little bit more about that. You know, in the 6 or so wars that we stopped, we haven't had a ceasefire. And so I don't know that it's necessary. You can do it through the war, but I like the ceasefire from another standpoint. You immediately stop the killing. But I believe a peace agreement at the end of all of this is something that's very attainable, and it can be done in the near future. With all of the wars that I got involved in, we only have this one left. Of course, as I walk out the door, there'll probably be a new one starting, and I'll get that stopped too. But I thought this was going to be one of the easier ones. It's actually one of the most difficult.
wow.
And very complex. The next step would be for a trilateral meeting, and that will be worked out. And I just look forward to working and having a great result.
Yeah. Hi, Florida. I mean, it's just really fascinating to watch him.
Of the United States, dear Donald, for the fact that you, as I said before, I really want to thank you, President of the United States, dear Donald, for the fact that you, as I said before, broke the deadlock, basically with President Putin by starting that dialogue. And I think it was in February that you had the first phone call, and from there we are now where we are today. And that is, I think, if we play this well, we could end this. And we have to end this. We have to stop the killing. We have to stop the destruction of Ukraine's infrastructure. It is a terrible war. So I'm really excited. I really want to thank you, President of the United States, dear Donald, for the fact that you, as I said before, broke the deadlock with President Putin by starting that dialogue. And I think it was in February that you had the first phone call. And from there, we are now where we are today. And that is, I think if we play this well, we could end this.
Who is that? NATO. Okay, so that's the NATO Secretary General. That's who that was. Hi, Kelly. How are you? Yay! Kelly's here. That's so exciting. We've started coming back on the live streams. Are you guys there? My connection completely went out. Okay, who is still there? Uh-oh. Yeah, I know. Uh-oh. Why am I so tiny? All right, hold on. Hold the phone. Oh, here we go. I guess we'll. Hi, Dan. Is anyone else still here? Is anyone still here? All right. Well, it looks like a few people are still kind of in there, so we'll see if anyone else is still here. Hola. Of course. Okay. My connection completely went out, so I was like, I don't know if anyone's gonna be here when I come back, but we'll see. Okay. All right, we got a few people coming back. Okay, good. Ah. All right. Okay. All right. We're back, you guys. I had some technical difficulties. I was like, is anyone going to be here when I come back? And we got some. All right. Let's look more into this visit today because it's funny. How about that? All right. And we got EU leaders at the White House. Here we go.
And I agree with you that, let me first say that this was a very successful day. And I agree with you that President Trump is a pragmatic peacemaker, as you, I think, said. What he did this year, breaking the deadlock, starting the conversation with Putin, but also putting pressure. We have had the NATO summit, the 5%. Which was a big foreign policy success of President Trump. And then he decided to, again, have lethal weapons go into Ukraine paid for by the Europeans. And he put secondary sanctions, tariffs on India. So he's putting pressure, but he is also looking for ways to solve this, to bring this war to an end. So today was very successful. We discussed the security guarantees, and we will work on those over the coming days and then have another meeting virtually with this group of leaders and the president. And then we will work towards this trilateral. And he was able, in a conversation with President Putin, to have Putin to agree to first a meeting between Putin and Zelensky. So they will now discuss where.
What I have learned is that Zelensky is a very tiny man. He is not a large man at all, by any means. He's tiny. Zelensky. Very tiny man.
They had sanctuary policies here in D.C. No longer. They've been working with us. You have to tell us if there are illegal aliens in your database. If we're arresting someone, we are going to know if they're an illegal alien. So last week, I sent out 32 letters to mayors around the country, and I believe to 7 governors telling them, you better comply or you're next. If they don't comply with this, Larry, we're going to work with our other agencies to cut off their federal funding. We are going to send in law enforcement just like we did during the LA riots, just like we're doing here in Washington, D.C. And if they're not going to keep their citizens safe, Donald Trump will keep them safe. That's what this is all about.
All right. So what she is referring to is, so last week, The Department of Justice sent, she's right, they sent 7, what did she say, 7 governors? Yeah, they sent a few governors and mayors and a lot of leaders of sanctuary jurisdiction, and they essentially said, if you don't start complying with ICE, and if you don't end your sanctuary status, we're going to cut off your federal funding, which might seem harsh, but at the same time, I'm surprised this hasn't happened sooner. Because if you're a sanctuary city, essentially you're saying we're not complying with federal law. That's what you're saying. You're saying we're not going to comply with federal law. So why would you get federal funding anyway in the first place? Is what confuses me. But a lot of these cities have gotten away with stuff like this for a very long time. So I think federal funding should have been cut off a long time ago. If you're not complying with federal law, you don't get federal funding. There you go. It's not, I don't think it's complicated. It's not complicated. You don't comply with federal law, you don't get federal funding. No biggie. Okay. You get to choose. You don't want to comply with federal law. That's cool. You don't get federal funding. I think that's fair. So we'll see what's happening. Gavin Newsom was one of the governors that got a letter. So we'll see what's happening. I would imagine also the governor of Massachusetts. I would imagine also probably the governor of Colorado. But I don't know who else other than that. So, all right, let's see what Marco Rubio is saying about Europe.
Have such alliances with South Korea. We have it with Japan. Any sovereign country in the world has a right to enter into security alliances with other countries. You know, it's not just NATO. We have such alliances with South Korea. We have it with Japan. Other countries have it with each other. And so I think everyone would acknowledge, including, by the way, for the first time, the Russian side, under President Trump's sort of pressure or, you know, a suggestion, is that, in fact, a Ukraine post-conflict has a right to enter into security agreements with other countries. And we will work with our European allies and non-European countries, by the way, to build such a security guarantee. We're working on that right now. We'll continue to work on that. And that'll be something that'll have to be in place after a peace deal, so that Ukraine can feel safe moving forward. And we're coordinating that as we speak. We're involved in the coordination of it. So yeah, there are a number of countries that are willing to step forward and provide Ukraine security guarantees. But as the Ukrainians have said to us, and I think have said publicly, you know, the strongest security guarantee they can come up with their future is to have a strong military moving forward. And that's the other dynamic that's changed. We're no longer giving Ukraine weapons. We're no longer giving Ukraine money. We are now selling them weapons, and European countries are paying for it through NATO. They are using NATO to buy the weapons and transfer them to Ukraine. That's another big change from the way this war was approached just a few, you know, just under the Biden administration, for example.
Interesting. Well, we watched that one together. And that's
this meeting and for your commitment.
this is so this is the president of France, Macron, who is also currently suing Candace Owens. So Macron, this gentleman, and his wife are suing Candace Owens. So there's that. Because Candace Owens had an entire series in which she swore up and down that Macron, this man, his wife is in fact a man. So do with that what you will.
And everything was said, but I just have to say here, everybody around this table is in favor of peace. And we work very hard, and we've worked very hard during the past few years to have a peace which is a robust and long-standing peace. This is why the idea of a trilateral meeting is very important, because this is the only way to fix it. Thank you, Mr. President, for organizing this meeting and for your commitment. And everything was said, but I I just have to say here,
I would like to see Candace's commentary on this.
And I think it is, and thank you very much, Donald.
This is Giorgia Meloni. She is the Prime Minister of Italy.
Thank you very much, Donald, Mr. President, for hosting us today in this important meeting. And I think it is an important day, a new phase, after 3 years and a half that we didn't see any kind of sign from the Russian side that there was a willing for dialogue. So something is changing, something has changed, thanks to you. Thanks also to the stalling in the battlefield, which was achieved with the bravery of Ukrainians and with the unity that we all provided to Ukraine. And the reason why I mention it is that we also have to remind that if we want to reach peace and if we want to guarantee justice, we have to do it united. So that's why it's a very good day, the one we are in. You can obviously count on Italy as it was from the beginning. We are on the side of Ukraine, and we do absolutely support your efforts towards peace.
Love it. She's a favorite of mine.
We had a fantastic NATO summit. Indeed, we are here, Europeans, as friends and allies. We had a fantastic NATO summit together as the two largest.
Wait, okay, she's Le Pen.
Biggest economies in the world. We had the largest trade deal ever agreed. And now we are here to work together with you on a just and lasting peace for Ukraine. Stop the killing. This is really our common interest. Stop the killing. Indeed, we are here, European.
Huh.
I think this is extremely helpful. President Donald, many thanks for having us today. I think this is extremely helpful that we are meeting and hearing that the two of you are having such a good meeting today here in Washington. The next steps ahead are the more complicated ones now. The path is open. You opened it last Friday, but now the way is open for complicated negotiations. President Donald, many thanks for having us today. I think this is extremely helpful.
There's Zelensky.
Fire while we work on a lasting peace. All of us would obviously prefer an immediate ceasefire while we work on a lasting peace, and maybe something like that could happen. As of this moment, it's not happening, but President Zelensky and President Putin can talk a little bit more about that. You know, in the 6 or so wars that we stopped, we haven't had a ceasefire. And so I don't know that it's necessary. You can do it through the war, but it would be, I like the ceasefire from another standpoint. You immediately stop the killing. But I believe a peace agreement at the end of all of this is something that's very attainable, and it can be done in the near future. With all of the wars that I got involved in, we only have this one left. Of course, as I walk out the door, there'll probably be a new one starting, and I'll get that stopped too. But I thought this was going to be one of the easier ones. It's actually one of the most difficult and very complex. The next step would be for a trilateral meeting, and that will be worked out. And I just look forward to working and having a great result.
All right. All right, one more of Trump from this meeting. Here it is.
President Putin agreed that the Alaska summit reinforced my belief that while difficult, peace is within reach. And I believe that in a very significant step, President Putin agreed that Russia would accept security guarantees for Ukraine. And this is one of the key points that we need to consider. And we're going to be considering that at the table also, like who will do what. Essentially, I'm optimistic that collectively we can reach an agreement that would deter any future agreement over European nations are going to be very secure. We also need to duration the current line of contact. That means the war zone, the war lines that are pretty obvious, very, very sad actually to look at them. Also, we just met a little while ago, and we're going to try and get a three-party meeting, maybe as soon as we can. And I have a feeling you and President Putin are going to work something out. Ultimately, this is a decision that can only be made by President Zelensky and by the people of Ukraine working also together in an agreement with President Putin. And I just think things are going to come of it. So I hope we have a good meeting and that meeting. And not that I want to do that, but I will do that because we want to save a lot of people from dying. A lot of people are dying and we got to save them.
Nice. All right, maybe one more.
Have you here? Well, thank you very much. It's a great honor to have you here. Special place, White House is special. No matter where you're from, represents so much, and it really is beautiful. Thank you. All of the wonderful things that took place today. We've had a very successful day thus far. And important discussions as we work to end the killing and stop the war in Ukraine. We're all working for settled. I've honoring with that we've had. We covered a lot of territory. We're going to call President Putin right after this meeting, and we're going to try and work out a trilat after that and see if we can get it finished, put this to sleep, because this is not since the Second World War has there been anything like this.
Wow.
Not a good day. That was not a great day. Is everything okay? You all set? Thank you very much.
Actually, that's pretty cool if you think about it. So you got all the leaders of the EU right there. Not that I love and respect all of them. Not saying that, but just saying that's kind of an interesting moment.
Very important. Paper ballots. So between paper ballots, very, very important, paper ballots, and I think maybe even more important, the mail-in voting. We're going to end mail-in voting. It's a fraud. If you have mail-in vote, even Jimmy Carter with this commission, they set it up. He said the one thing about mail-in voting, you will never have an honest election if you have mail-in. And it's time that the Republicans get tough and stop it, because the Democrats want it. It's the only way they can get elected. Because with men and women's sports and with transgender for everybody and open borders and all of the horrible things, and now the new thing is they love crime. They're fighting me on the fact that I've made Washington, D.C. safe. We're not going to get mugged, beaten up, or killed like all the people you've been watching get so badly hurt. I'm glad, I hate to take your time with this, but I'm glad you asked me that question. Sorry. We're going to stop mail-in ballots because it's corrupt. So between paper ballots.
I will say in 2020 when we voted, I was living in Los Angeles. I was sent 2 ballots in the mail. I got 2 of them. Zelensky is gone, and oh, for sure. He's a really small man too. I didn't realize how small he was till I looked at this lineup with all of them. Wait, here's Zelensky.
The 6 deals that I settled this year, they were all at war. I don't think you need a ceasefire. You know, if you look at the 6 deals that I settled this year, they were all at war. I didn't do any ceasefires. And I know that it might be good to have, but I can also understand strategically why, well, you know, one country or the other wouldn't want it. You have a ceasefire and they rebuild and rebuild and rebuild, and, you know, maybe they don't want that. But if you look at the 6 deals that we made peace and you know, long-term, long-running wars, I didn't do any ceasefires. Would I like the concept, you know, I like the concept of a ceasefire for one reason, because you'd stop killing people immediately, as opposed to in 2 weeks or 1 week or whatever it takes. But we can work a deal where we're working on a peace deal while they're fighting. They have to fight. I wish they could stop. I'd like them to stop. But strategically, that could be a disadvantage for one side or the other. But all of these deals I made without even the mention of the words ceasefire. I don't think you need a ceasefire. You know, if you look at the 6 deals that I settled this year, they were all at amazing phenomenon. I said that if it's an amazing phenomenon. I said that if in the settlement you got Moscow, St. Petersburg, and thousands of miles around them, they would say I made a bad deal. The level of hatred and animosity is incredible. Not with all. I mean, we have great people up here. We also have terrible people up there that I think are told what to say. But, you know, in solving all of these wars, they don't even write about it. You know, I saw major wars. I saw wars that have been going on for 31, 35, and 37, and a couple of quicker ones. One that was going to go into a full-blown deal very quickly. You know what the one I'm talking about. It was a big one. But they don't even write about that. No matter what I do, no matter what, and you know, this is not anything to do with you. It's probably to your advantage in a certain way. But no matter what I do, no matter what deal I make, from my standpoint, you'll come out good. Maybe President Putin will come out good. But they'll say Trump was absolutely horrible. It's just it. And I've lived with that for a long time. I've lived with it since just before the first election. I used to get great publicity. Now I get the worst publicity anyone's ever gotten in office, but I won in a landslide, so that people understand they're the only ones that count ultimately. But I've also had great reporters. I've had journalists that are very good. But it's very sad when you do the right thing. As an example, they said, because of the fact that Vladimir Putin came to American soil, this was a tremendous defeat for Donald Trump. No, it was really wonderful that he did it. It was a hard thing for him to do, to be honest with you. It was the opposite of what they said. Trump, you know, there's no way. And there's just a great dishonesty of the press. And I think that's why it's lost its credibility. You know, its credibility is at an all-time low.
So did you hear MSNBC? They're changing their name to, shoot, what is it, like MS Now? It's so cheesy. Hold on. MSNBC name change. Yeah, MS Now. So it's going from MSNBC to MS Now. My source, news, opinion, world. Oh, that's what the now stands for. News, opinion, world. Ha 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 ha.
Ukraine with us. We've had a lot of, well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have the president of Ukraine with us. We've had a lot of good discussions, a lot of good talks, and I think progress is being made, very, very substantial progress in many ways. We had a good meeting, as you know, just a short while ago with the president of Russia. And I think there's a possibility that something could come out of it. And today's meeting is very important. We have, I guess, the seven very powerful leaders from Europe, and we're going to be meeting with them right after this meeting. And thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor.
Mr. President. All right.
Or the numbers weren't always to be trusted.
Oh, this is what we were talking about earlier. These crime statistics in Washington, D.C. that were fudged. All right, here's a report on them.
Crime. But according to a sergeant turned whistleblower, the numbers weren't always to be trusted. In this lawsuit from 2020, Sergeant Charlotte Josu claimed that MPD routinely misclassified crimes and that districts compete against each other to get the largest reduction in the crime statistics, possibly paving the way to promotions and raises. She claimed higher-ups in the department told officers to do so, creating a long history of trying to distort crime statistics, including downgrading felonies to misdemeanors. Josu gave one striking example of a domestic violence case where a woman had a deep cut from her forehead to her chin. The officer on scene called it assault with a dangerous weapon, but the captain allegedly changing it to sick person to the hospital. Josu claimed there were also tendencies to relabel theft and shoplifting cases to taking property without right, because that category wasn't tracked in the crime report. Despite the city's failed attempts to have the lawsuit dismissed along.
Wait, what? Kelly said, a man like Putin, you'd think he could be bribed or something. You would think so. It's really funny, too, to watch all these guys. It's really funny, too, to watch all these guys in a lineup because they're so tiny. Look, you want to see how tiny they are? Hold on. Okay, so yeah, basically what's been happening in Washington, D.C. is they're fudging the crime numbers to make it seem like there's less crime. All right, wait, let's find... Can we get all of these guys together so we can see how tall they are? Oh. Where is it? No, are you serious? It's not on here anywhere. They're so tiny. MSM is a relevant waste of money for the millions wasted. Well, it's going to be MS Now. MS Now, which is okay, MS Now, which means my source. My source, news, opinion, world. That's what it means. What I'll tell you exactly what they're trying to do. Zelensky and Putin are both tiny. I know, and I'm trying to find this picture of them all together. I can't find it. Can't find it. Trump, EU leaders.
Now understand.
Okay, so we have. Can you guys see my cursor? So there's Trump, and then we have Zelensky. Then we have Macron. This is Macron right here. This is who's suing Candace Owens. Macron, the French president. He is currently suing Candace Owens for defamation. Because Candace Owens is accusing his wife of being a man. So there's that. And then this is Giorgia Meloni. She is the Prime Minister of Italy. Right there. Putin is about 5'8". Putin isn't even in here, is he? No, he's not even in here. I would imagine Putin is like right here, right? Yeah. And this is Keir Starmer. So yeah, there's a few of them.
Not a good day. That was not a great day.
Wait, how tall is Zelensky? All right, hold on. How tall is Zelensky? Oh. Okay, y'all. Zelensky, he's only 5'7". So keep that in mind. Zelensky is only 5'7". 5'7". That's pretty small. Not to shame anyone. I'm just saying. He's 5'7". So now we know. We didn't know that before, but now we know. This is an educational channel. Trump is 6'3". He does. Yeah, Trump is 6'3", but also Zelensky is 5'7". How tall is Putin? Okay, hold on. How tall is Vladimir Putin? No. No. Wait a second, y'all. It's saying that Vladimir Putin is also 5'7". Hold on. Hold on. Is this right? Can people, we need to fact check. No, that's what it's saying. They're both the same height. They're both 5'7". No. It's not funny. Hold on. It's not funny. What? Hold on. Yeah, I'm 5'1". Okay, but it's fine. Wait a second. Okay, hold on. No way. Okay, no way. It says Putin is 5'7". He's officially 5'7". Zelensky's 5'7". They're both 5'7". Danielle, I'm only 4 foot. Danielle, I feel like you're taller than 4'11" because I'm 5'1". I feel like you're taller than me, or like we're the same height. Are you sure you're 4'11"? Okay, so Vladimir Putin. Wait, are they both Vladimirs? Vladimirs? Are they both Vladimirs? Vladimir. Vladimir and Vladimir. Huh. They're both 5'7". That's really interesting. No shade to any man that is 5'7". Zelensky keeps changing his spelling. I know. Is it 2 Y's or is it 1? Like, let's make up our minds here, people. Danielle says, I know it doesn't look like it. I thought you were at least like, I thought you were taller than me. Yeah, I can't decide on how many Y's are supposed to be on his name. I'm taller than you? I thought you were taller than me. Okay. Well, this will be settled once and for all soon. Okay, let's see. What should we watch?
for those 171 city employees.
All right, this is Denver City Council. I talk about Denver a lot. Her husband. Oh, okay. So if you guys don't know, so Denver, we talk about Denver a lot. I used to live there. I used to work for Denver Human Services. Because they have such a big budget deficit, they're having to lay off city employees. And this woman, her husband's being laid off. So they're at like over a $200 million deficit that they have to make up for. So they're laying off all these employees. Meanwhile, they spent over $350 million on illegal immigrants. Okay, so here, let's watch this. This will be interesting.
It is a really hard day as an elected official, and especially for those 171 city employees that were laid off, because unfortunately my husband, Scott Gilmore, was one of those city employees laid off. And so, 13 years of service to the city and county of Denver, that means that when he started serving, our youngest daughter was 7 years old. And so she has grown up, not only with her dad in service to the city and county of Denver, but she herself has been in the service to the city and county of Denver. And it is a sad day. And I would ask that people don't ever refer to this place, this building, these gross racist chambers, these halls that we walk, as anybody's family. Because it's not a family here. It's not a city family. It's not a council family. Because you know what? I have created in my life a family that is chosen and that is not toxic and that is scared to speak back to power, to speak back. And the number of people on this dais that when the talk of furloughs, of financial straits came up, a few folks, and you all know who you are because I know you know who you are, said, well, you know what, during ARPA, during the pandemic, we hired a lot of people. And so there's a lot of fluff in our city. Well, you know what, today, that fluff are human beings. And it's disturbing to hear fellow colleagues that will have to run again for these seats share that with me. And so my hearts and prayers and my strength, and yes, my rage, because as a woman in these positions, we all have to hold it together. And I will not let my voice falter. I will not let it shake so much that you can't hear me, and that powerful men like to silence unruly, loudmouthed, sassy women. And that is what I'm saying in these chambers today. Because I have grown up with my whole life being told, don't say that. Don't do that. This city, through the pandemic, the service. My husband went to go pick up prisoners at the jail with plastic duct taped around the back.
Yeah.
To go take somebody safe so they could respite care because they had COVID. This is how this.
So I used to actually work, this is Denver. So Denver is at, like, I kind of like half agree with her and then half not agree with her. But Denver, they're in such a big budget deficit that they're having to lay off a lot of like essential city employees. So that's what they're doing. They're at like a $200 million deficit, and they've spent almost $400,000 on illegal immigrants to their city. So they're facing this like big. So what I was gathering at the beginning of that is that her husband is one of these city employees that's being laid off. But they're having to lay off, I think, over like 100 city employees because of this budget deficit. Kelly says, yeah, it's like big government. Yeah, too many public employees. Oh, yeah, I for sure agree. I do agree. We have way too many city employees. Well, we have way too many. It's like, what were people equating it to? Like a huge, like, administrative class, basically. We have a really, really big administrative class. That's the public's money they're spending on illegals. That's their own fault. And the voters. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Filled. That's all because of a $200 million gap in the budget. Today, 170 Denver city workers lost their jobs, and over 600 open positions are not going to be filled. That's all because of a $200 million gap in the budget. So how did we get here? This is a tale of two cities. Denver hung up this banner that says, Denver hearts immigrants, and a lot of them came, over 40,000 of them. Denver would spend $356 million servicing these illegal immigrants. Last year, the city of Denver cut its services to its own citizens. Now it's laying off employees. This is all a problem they made themselves. It's not the only story. A nearby city, the city of Aurora, went down a different path.
Simply stating, we are not going to provide the financial support. We are not going to shut down our rec centers. We are not going to cut our police budget. We are not taking anything out, and that includes staff.
This is a post from the mayor of Aurora who said, yes, we will expect a deficit, $20 million. It's not $200 million, but look at this. Absolutely no layoffs of our city's workforce will be necessary. This is the mayor of Denver. Yes, he really looks like this. Mikey Johnston. Bottom line, Mikey Johnston hearts immigrants more than he does his own citizens and his own employees. Mikey learned that old adage from Margaret Thatcher the hard way. Socialism's great, but eventually you run out of other people's money. I'm sorry, the people of Denver, but you voted for this.
Kelly, sorry. Is this enough to get my initials tattooed on your neck? I might need like one or two more doll hairs in order to get your name permanently tattooed on my neck. Thank you, Kelly. That's a big ask. That's permanent. You know what I'm saying? And now, did you know that I was just reading this statistic, like a third of all adult women have tattoos? That's a really high number of women that have tattoos. I didn't realize. A couple more zeros. And also like how big, like there's a lot of logistics that need to be worked out there. Yeah, so they're laying off almost 200 employees. Oh, meanwhile, another thing that they did recently I have not. No, I don't have a single tattoo. Who has a tattoo? I actually I'm really attracted to men that have tattoos. I like tattoos on men, but I don't have a single tattoo, and I have no desire to ever get a tattoo ever. I don't have anything against them necessarily. I just don't have one, and I don't have any desire to get one, I guess. So, I don't know. Who has tattoos? Kelly doesn't. We have that straight. No, not a single tattoo. You have 7? I have 2, one on my wrist and one on my back. I didn't know that. Just learned that about you. I didn't know that. Large ones. I've never had anything that I like enough to want to have a tattoo of it. There's nothing I've ever wanted that I would commit enough to having a tattoo. Okay. What now? We've gone a little over an hour. What's Kirsty know?
The laws.
Yeah, Sean, you can already see and feel the difference in DC.
Distinction of
Okay, so over the weekend, they arrested over 70 people. They got 30 illegal immigrants off the streets of DC, so it was kind of an impressive weekend.
Distinction of the highest homicide rate per 100,000 people of any capital in the world if we would enforce the laws.
Yeah, Sean, you can already see and feel the difference in DC. People are knowing that they can walk down the streets, they can run their errands, and they can do so in a more safe environment today than they could just a week ago. In fact, the statistics say that just robberies and those crimes are down 46% in the last week because of what President Trump has done to go after these criminals. So we've got a lot of different agencies that are out there working together. I'm so glad that there are states that are stepping up and being willing to activate National Guard troops to help as well. We've got ICE and CBP, we've got Secret Service, we've got all different kinds of DEA.
Did anyone see the South Park episode? I do. I like guys that have sleeves. I find that very attractive. Tattoo. There was a recent South Park episode, and they had a character that was playing Kirsty Noam, whatever her name is. I was going to end this with some fun. Okay. I was going to end this with some fun liberals. If I can get a funny liberal video. Body cam footage obtained. This is intoxicated Democrat appointed Rhode Island. Okay, this is late night television, folks. Why not? Okay. Rhode Island Assistant AG.
Let's go. Let's go.
If I ask you to turn off the body cam, you have to turn it off, and that's your protocol. She's a fucking lawyer, so she knows.
Well, that's bullshit lawyer stuff, so that's not true.
You're
So we gotta go.
No, it is. That's law. I'm an
What's she
AG.
saying?
I'm an AG.
Good for you. I don't give a shit. Let's go. We're going. Let's go. We're leaving.
Please
We're leaving.
don't put your hands on us.
Can you get your children out of here? Like, I don't know why.
I'm sorry. What?
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
They're two full-grown women and mothers. All right.
You just need the tank. You just need the tank.
I'm an AG. I'm an AG. I'm an AG. What do you? What do you?
What's wrong with you?
What do you probable cause to detain me for?
You're being detained because you're not leaving.
Because I'm what? You have.
Can you relax? Sir, she's not doing anything wrong.
AG.
She's not leaving.
I'm an AG.
She's the AG. Buddy, you're not. She's not being arrested. Let's go.
I'm not being arrested. You're putting me in cuffs. I'm not being
Okay,
arrested.
do you have any weapons on you?
No, I'm an AG.
Her badge is in the car. You want to go get a badge?
Let me tell you something. You're
Buddy,
arrested.
get the hell out of here. Buddy, just seriously.
You're arresting me, AG. Let me tell you something.
Are you under arrest right now? No.
You're putting me in handcuffs and you're Mirandizing. You're not Mirandizing me.
Relax. Relax.
Wait, what? Democrat appointed Rhode Island Assistant Attorney General Dawn charged with trespassing.
If I ask you to turn off the body cam, you have to. But you're gonna regret this.
Yeah.
You're gonna regret it. I'm an
She said you're gonna regret this. I'm an AG. Wait, Kelly, did anyone see the parody video of the Rolling Stones making fun of libs? Oh no. Where is it from? Lawyers think I know. She said you're gonna regret this. I'm an AG, Attorney General. Like they care. They don't care. That just makes you even more annoying. Oh my goodness. Oh wait, here you guys will like this. Here, y'all like this. Here, we'll go out with another banger. Here's a Joe Biden impersonation and a Trump impersonation.
You can do better than that. Make some goddamn noise for your president. No, Joe, this way. This is it over here. Joe. Joe, no. Joe, over here. Wow. Wait a second. Oh my God. Wow. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, the real president of the United States is here. Oh my God! Wait, what are you guys? This is an unbelievable moment. Oh, you do not look good, Joe Biden. Sit down, sit down. So scared.
Tony, what an unbelievable experience it is. What a great show this could be. Instead, we've got an absolute idiot here running the show.
This is a moment we will never forget. This is incredible. What a shocking surprise. No one more shocked than President Joe Biden. He looked so scared.
Who just shit my pants?
That's my favorite show, Kill Tony. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
You can do better than that. Make some goddamn noise for your president. Anything can happen.
This crowd is
right.
Tony, how many more retarded guys do you have back?
Anything can happen.
This crowd is hungry for more retarded guys. Frankly, I don't think we've seen enough retarded guys. How about a retarded racist? Would you like to see?
This next person could be one. I pulled it out of the bucket. It is the Kill Tony debut, I do believe, of Jacob Barr, everybody. Jacob Barr. Oh, my God. Holy shit.
Thank you.
Well.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Careful what you wish for.
Okay, hold on. We're going to reset this, Jacob. Going to give you a nice clean slate in a full 60 seconds. We weren't expecting that. Holy fucking shit, man. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for Jacob Barr. Right.
Tony, how many more retarded
All
guys do
right,
you have
you
back?
guys.
Anything can happen.
This crowd is hungry for more retarded guys.
All right, you all. That's everything I have for you tonight. Oh my goodness gracious. What time is it? It is late. It's 11 p.m. It's past my bedtime. So I'm going to get off here. Hello from RVA. Great running into your live stream. Oh, thank you, Scott. Thank you very, very much. All right, you all. Well, y'all have a great evening, and I'll see you probably tomorrow at some point in time. And you guys have a great night, and I'll see you later. Bye. Good night. Good night, Danielle. Good night, Kelly. Good night. Good night, Tiro. Good night. Bye, John. Good night, Kelly.